Okay, welcome back, guys. So let's just import the accessories from Maya. So I've already figured out the dual FBX already. It's just basically the same process. Since we already have them with different colors already, so let's just import them in. So floating accessories. Then let's add the mouse we created for them. So it should be the boots English shirts, hoodie, trousers, then anything else. If there's something else we need to import, then we'll just import that later on. So I'll click OK. So while this is loading up, still trying to figure out the right engine material to use. Okay. Yeah, that didn't take too much time to load in. So first I want to do is kind of adjust our camera settings first. I'd like to adjust the camera settings for this. So for the focal length, I'm going to be using 85mm lens for this. That should give us a similar camera settings just like we had in ZBrush. Okay. So now let's begin to import it. Let's start with by importing the normal map for the boots. So we have the boots. If you isolate this now, you can see that it imported in successfully, which is precisely what we want. That means we did a good job in creating our normal map for the boots. So everything came in quite accurately. Then we'll go to the English shirts. For the English shirts, the English okay. That also imported correctly without any major issues. Awesome. That came in quite nicely without any major issue. Nice. Okay. Even while I'm looking at this, and I think I might or I can or maybe I should even have a variation of this English shirt, giving it this more or less like a jean material, something more or less like so. Something more or less like so. Maybe not with the break up in here, but just something dirty also though. Something as dirty as this. Maybe this can even be our main reference for it. And also giving it a more English like plaid pattern like this also. So that'll be like two variations I will have on this just to see how the both of them look. But I'm still going to have just one definite jean fabric for the trousers. Then for the boots, I'm looking for going either something like so or something like this. But I'm more or less more interested in this particular kind of leather material because this is like the main reference you use for sculpting the boots. So just might be going for something like this. Okay, so that's like the general idea in my head. Then to kind of make it a bit dirty and worn looking for the plaid fabric, I'll be using this as my reference guide. For the hoodie also, I'll be using this kind of color tone to it. Then probably make it a bit more dirty like this. But the idea is that we're going to start with a more cleaner version, and then we'll work our way to adding something a bit more dirty on top of it. That's like the general idea behind it. So carrying on. So before I move any step further, I think let's just go to the hoodie main and drop in our normal mapping here also. Great. Thank God we came in with the normal map without too much of an issue. Yeah, this is looking quite nice. Don't seem to have any major artifacts or issues in here. Since ZBrush did a very good job for baking out everything we need. And we also did a good job for sculpting the details we need also for this. So everything seems to be working really nice, so that's fine. So we'll go to I've done the boots already now. Yeah, because this sole, boot sole, we don't need anything for that. Then for the normal map for the trousers, awesome. I've gotten this in here also. Okay, doesn't seem to be any major issue in here. Isn't any major issue that we should be very much concerned about. Everything seems to come in rather quite nicely, which is fine. Okay, that's good. Which other stuff do we need to import? Yeah, nothing else. Yeah, nothing else. I think we're good. We're good. So I'll bring everything back in. So this is what we have. Okay, we should just drop in some shadowing in here. Just drop some shadows in here. Let's see how this works with the shadow. Okay, that seems nice. Alright, I think this we can definitely work with. This came out rather nice. Probably not the best though, but we can definitely work with this. This we can definitely work with. Okay. Well, good. So I'll just do a quick save for this. Just put this here and just save this. Let me just name this to garments XP. I'll do a quick save for this. Still trying to figure out the right, because I downloaded some plaid fabric from the internet. So I'm still kind of trying to figure out a particular one to use for this. Trying to figure out a particular one to use for this. So these are actually tileable. They are all tileable textures. Yeah, they are tileable textures that you can definitely use. Uh, I don't know why they are separated out in this fashion, but it won't really matter though. They are definitely tileable. So I think we have another piece also. We have another one here also. We have another one. They're actually free textures that are downloaded on the internet. I think I should be sharing you guys the file also. But I'm trying to go for a more duller color. Like for this now, this for example, this for example looks quite interesting. And this particular fabric, you can use something like this in replacement for it, something like this or something more or less like so. Anyone could be fine. We can even have a variation of all of them if we want to, but I think for now just leave that as it is and figure that out later on. Then also for the gym fabric, I also have a map I downloaded online. Though some Total Spectre has some fabric material in there also, some default fabric materials. But I'm trying to figure out which particular one to use. But we'll see. We'll see. So, but the first thing we want to do is to kind of texture the hoodie. I like to texture the hoodie first. Yes, one more thing also. Let's bake the necessary materials we need for this. So I'll turn off normal for now. So I'll baking this at 2K resolution. I'll baking the boot stuff. Turn off this. Baking the English shirt. Baking the hoodie. Baking. I'm not baking the sole. Boot sole. I think everything else looks good. Everything else should be just fine. Then for the ambient occlusion, I want to make this only self-same name apply to all. For the curvature, generate from normal map. That's precisely what I want. I think everything should be fine. 2K resolution should be fine. And I'll just run a quick bake for this. And I'll come back when this is done. Okay, so this is done baking. So let's bake the other maps also. So let's go to bake maps. All I need to do is just to invert the selection. I'll come in here and then invert selection. Spatula one will just bake from the normal, we just use the base mesh as our baking high poly as our high poly kind of bake the low poly also. So that's basically the technical term there, but just turn on normal. Just basically turn on normal and then just do a bake. Everything should be the same. This should be from mesh itself. Everything should be fine and just click on bake. Okay, so we're done baking that. So the first thing I'm going to texture is the hoodie. So our main reference point for the color is this ash colored hoodie. And then we already have like I'm saying like I already the close up for this, so we're more or less looking for a fabric that looks more or less like so. You have a particular fabric material that looks just the same way. It should be somewhere around here. It's not super detailed, but it will do the job. I think it should be this, either this or this, one of these. Yeah, something more or less like so should be fine. Maybe we can even try that. Can even try them out, set kind of figure out which particular one works best for what we need it for. So I think I have another one in here. I should have another one in here. Believe I have another one in here somewhere. Yes, this also. This also looks like a good one. Probably not the best, but it should also work. So just for the sake of experimenting, I'll just drag these two in. Just drag them in, and I'll just name them as texture imports. So I'm just going to, let me just get this out so you can actually eyeball this fabric in here like so. It's more, this piece does more or less work like for the this is not a texture map actually, just for the height map, just for the height. So hoodie means, let's just isolate the hoodie. Should probably even turn off shadows, maybe turn off shadows for now. Okay, now delete this. Okay, so let me just create a new fill layer. I want to be experimenting with this and also experimenting with the default fabric that comes with Substance Painter, or maybe even have a blend of two. So I'm going to turn everything else off apart from the height channel. Then let's try this fabric. This first one. Let me just plug this in here. So right off the bat, we have something pretty messed up like so. So I'm just going to, no, I have a better idea. There's a better way to do this. So I'll create a black mask and I'll create a fill layer. Then on that fill layer, I'll just drag and plug this in. You shouldn't see anything take effect on it yet until we increase the height channel. Like so. But keeping in mind that you can see how it kind of follows the same vertical fabric. Should I call it pattern, or yes, let me just call it the directionality. And that is because we kind of made sure our UVs are kind of, at least the UVs are kind of following the same direction, just like we did it in, just like we created the pattern instead of monoset toolbar. So very, very important. That is very important. So that's why our fabric is kind of running in this same direction, which is more or less precisely what we want. So that is why we did it that way. So on the fill layer, I can tweak this. Let me just type something. I make like scale of 20. The scale of 20. Now we're having this weird seam line around it. Probably come in here and then increase this all the way up a bit more. So this might more or less work. This might more or less work for what you need it for. Except for this weird seam we have at the edges, which doesn't look quite appealing to me. Probably let's try something lower. Let's try something around 10. This we can use and kind of escape. We can also fix this though. We can also just need to add another, duplicate this and kind of rotate this and then kind of erase this out. But I'm just trying to figure out what to use and what might be best for this. This actually looks good though. It actually looks good. So let me just name this fabric 1. Fabric 01. I don't want to just go straight forward and then just plug in materials and just start using. I'm kind of doing this raw and unedited to kind of show you guys my thought process when I'm trying to recreate a particular fabric and try to figure out what works best for it. But with this time we can't clearly see those fabric breakup, those seam pattern at the edges though. So this is one. So I'm going to just do a duplicate for this. I'll hide this. Then all I have to do is just to change this field and just a different pattern to it. Now this particular one looks seamless. This particular one actually looks seamless. This particular one is actually very seamless, which is nice. Though we need to crank this up a bit more. Let me put this around a value of 20. A value of 20 kind of mess things up a bit. Let's try a value of 15 in there. We need something a bit tighter, but not. Let's try it so. Okay. I'll probably take down the height channel down a bit. Let's just check this from a distance. Probably take down the height channel. Whereas this looks fine, but I think the other material feels a bit much better than this. So that material feels a bit more better. At least for a hoodie, this texture feels slightly better than the previous one. So I think this is going to be a better texture to use, except for the intensity needs to be gently lower. Maybe somewhere around here. Then the fill layer should definitely crank this up to around, let's try 15. Okay. Then what I'm actually going to do is to increase this all the way up first. And then I will do to raise this seam. What I'm going to do is to do a duplicate of this. So I should probably delete this for now. Do a duplicate of this. Then for this duplicate, I can just rotate this. Doesn't seem to be rotating. Offsets. Okay, let me turn off the lower one. Then try this again. Okay. So we have this around here. So this one at the top now, I like to offset this. Like to offset this like so. So if I turn this off, you can see how it kind of puts the seam somewhere else. So what I'm going to do is to put this in a group. Add the black marks. Then turn this back on. Then all I have to do is just to use to paint off the seams. Yes. I'll just paint off the seam now. I can just use I think we already brush up already, yes. It should be on white. I'll select the marks. It should be on white. I think this brush should be fine, I guess. Let's try. That seems to be painting in the height, some height information in there. Okay. Definitely don't want this painting height information. Let's try moving. Try and move the height for this. Okay, this doesn't seem to be doesn't seem to be working correctly as I would hope it should. So let's try something else. So I'm going to duplicate this lower fabric. Duplicate this. Then for the fill layer, I'm going to use a triplanar mapping for this. Let's try a value of 10. Okay, so the value of 10 is this kind of breaks up the surface just a bit more. Okay, then let me delete this now. I think let me just name this fabric 01 break up. So next thing I'm going to do is to take down the intensity. Just use weighting pens all over the place. So the height channel I'm just going to take. Let's start with this. Just take this down. This also, I'll take this down. But this should be slightly higher. Yeah, I think it should be just about right. Okay, so now let's begin to introduce some albedo texture to this. So if you go to the material slot, I think we should have fabric. I think there's something in here that should work. It should be some kind of wool material, not this. Okay, let's see. I don't want to see a preview of no, not yet. Just need to see a preview of this first. Not this, definitely not this. Not this. Only for more or less like a wool. Let's just type in wool. Create a new layer here. Okay, let's plug this in. I think I'd like to visualize this at 4K resolution. Okay, so let's see. Let's crank up the scale. Put this around 20. Let's turn up the height for now. I don't want to use the heights. This doesn't feel interesting enough for us to use. Doesn't look interesting enough. Okay, we can't seem to find precisely what we want in here, but that's fine. It gives us the leverage to actually create what we need. So I just plugged in this fabric knitted in there. So you can see how broken up this surface is. This fabric, you can see how broken up this fabric surface is, which the default materials in Substance Painter actually lacks. So what do we do? I think we're going to need to create something similar to this in here, which is fine, and should even give us the opportunity, or give you guys the opportunity for me to kind of show you guys how to do it instead of Substance Painter. So let's get started. So I'm going to be using this as a base, fabric top, fabric bottom. let's see, I'm gonna need to the height channel. Let's leave the height channel in there, just to add another extra layer in there. Okay, yeah, that's fine. Okay, this is something let me turn that off. We don't need this. Now this we need. Let me put this back to 1. Let's see how that looks at 1. Okay. This brown tone seems fine. Maybe we should probably darken it a bit more. Let's see what that gives us when we increase this to a value of 10. Yeah, it just adds an overall darker tone to the entire thing. So I'm just going to leave the previous one. Type in a value of 10 in there. Okay. Let's see if this is a good base to start. Let me just check this from a distance. This might be a good base to start with. I think probably increase this slightly. Something around there should be fine. You don't want to increase it all the way up, because keeping in mind that light information on this, a brighter light source kind of blow out the entire color of this. So you want to kind of have this around a grayish value. So now with that out of the way, so I'm going to create a new fill layer for this. I don't need any metallic properties in here. It should be all rough. Then this color tone. So just kind of we need to have a kind of blend of this color tone in here. So for this, I'm going to be using more of a darker, yeah, something around here should be fine, I guess. But let's keep this. Let me just name this to gray spots. Alright, so I'm going to add a black marks on this. I'm going to add a fill layer to this. So basically what we're trying to do here is to kind of add some kind of break up to this surface by using spots, kind of sports brush or sports texture in here. So under grudges, let's see if we can see the type in spots in here. Let's see the variation of spots we have in here. Let me type it in here instead. Spots. So this Gaussian spot looks quite interesting. This one looks quite interesting. It has some deformations in there and some break up. This one also looks interesting. This one is just to spread out. Can probably use that later on. This one also looks interesting also. There are quite a lot of interesting spots in here. So this one looks a bit spaced out. I think let's try this one. Okay. Now this is definitely giving us something, no doubt. And it's probably giving me an idea that I should need to kind of probably darken up. Should probably darken this up a bit more. Okay. Then for the fill layer, I'll need to crank up the scale. Let's try something around 20. Now 20 feels a bit overboard. Let's try 10 in there. Okay, we're definitely getting something. Except for the fact that I think we need it to be a bit darker. We come in here and even change up. Let's check the marks. Let's see how this mark is affecting it. Okay, this is a max. Probably need to make the white a bit brighter. Kind of make the white a bit more obvious to see. Let's come back in here. Now we have something. Okay. This is a good base. This can definitely act as a good base. So I can come back in here and then probably lighten this up a bit. Okay. You can see how from a distance it's beginning to give that effect of this hoodie material in there. Beginning to give that effect of this hoodie material. Maybe even the hoodie material, the back tone looks feeling like it's towards a more bluish tone. So let me just do a duplicate of this or hide this lower one. I think I need to even push this white towards a more bluish, more or less like something more or less like around, probably something around here. Okay, I'm beginning to catch something now. Okay. The only thing now is that this spot feels a bit too bright. Feels a bit too, but before we kind of change that up, I'll have to kind of duplicate this. I'll duplicate this. Then for this, I need to use a more brighter tone to it. Something a bit more brighter. Okay. Then come back to, let's rename this to white spots. Okay. So we can't really see the difference there until you come here and just randomize this seed. So as soon as we randomize this now, we should have some difference in there. It should more or less kind of give us something similar to what we're going for. And okay, we're getting there. Say for this particular one, I need to kind of tone down, make this a bit grayish. So that white spot, so that the white spot right on top of this, you kind of would more or less kind of pop out of it. You can see how the white spot now, just added on top now, is kind of popping out a bit more. It's not very obvious, but if I just go and turn this off, you can see the clear difference in there now. You can see the very clear difference in there. Okay. So the only thing now we need to kind of do now is to probably, let's see, soften. Should probably soften this out. Let's soften this out. So I'll come in here and I'll just add a blur filter to it. You can see how this blur filter kind of makes it feel a bit more natural. Probably the blur value is way too much. So I'll just come in and let's type in 2. I'll come in here also, I'll just repeat the same thing. So I'll add a filter to this, and I'll add a blur filter in here. Okay. So let's see, with this turned off, let me get this blur filter for these white spots. Let's try a value of 3. Alright. This is looking a bit more interesting. Okay. Okay, I think this is looking quite nice. think of basically, let me just zoom out a bit and kind of look at this from a distance. Because the idea is to kind of look at this from a distance, kind of figure out, okay, if the tone feels right, from a distance, then the more close-up view, it should look even better. Okay. I think this feels just about right. This feels just about right. Okay, another thing I like to do to kind of have some variation in here is to, let's see, this grayish, our gray undertone down here. I'll duplicate that and I'll drag this on top of everything, and I'll give that a black marks. Then I'll come in here and just select this icon in here. I wonder what that is called, even called. No, there's no one showing the name. But basically what that does is that we can actually now use this as a maxing tool to max out UVs, polygons, and what again, and polygons and mesh. So I'm going to max out some UVs in there, so I'll kind of use it. It should be on white, and just drag the selection around here. I don't know if I should do the same for the hoodie, for the hood cover, but I think I should do the same for this rope, kind of separate them out, kind of have them, kind of get them to look a bit separated from the entire thing. So if you come back and click on the brush, you basically have something like so. The one thing I would like to do is to let's try this. Let's see what that gives us. If we actually like the result or not. Nah, do not like the results. Result looks rather odd. Okay. So now that we have this in there, so what I'm actually going to do now is to select from this white spot all the way to this fabric knitted. So I'm just going to group them. I'll put them in a group. I think I can delete this now. I don't need this anymore. Then do a quick save. Okay, so that's done. So in here, I'll need to even push this down a bit more. Cannot get this to feel a bit darker than it is right now. Something like this will be fine. Let me just name this to wool. Let me just name this to bright wool instead. Then I would come in here and select these two, this white and the gray. I'll do a duplicate for that, and I'll drag that out of the group and put this on top. So let's do something slightly different now. So for this now, let me just create a black mask for this first. Then I'll put all of this in a group now. I'll group all of this, and I'll name this dark wool. Okay. So basically what I'm going to do in here is to, let me add the black marks in there, in that group. Select this again, and just repeat the same thing that we did before. Select these two, and select this two. You shouldn't see any difference there now. For now, there shouldn't be any difference there now until I come in there, and then this white spots, I'll take down the opacity. take down the visibility for it. The gray spot also, take down the visibility for it. Now this should be even darker. Can't seem to see. It's not very visible in there. It's not so visible in there. Oh yes, totally forgot. I need to take this back. Let's take this back to the actual color. So just undo back to this previous step. The mistake I did was I ought to have removed this mark. So let's remove these marks. Now yes, now we should have something. So okay, maybe even darken it a bit more. You kind of get an off tone to it. This should work just fine. Another thing I would like to do is to exclude this fabric pattern affecting this hoodie rope, and also give this a different material also. So let's exclude that. So I'll come in here. I think I'll select these two. I'll put them in a group. Let's group these two.